Oh, here we go. Cheers. How we doing? I'm doing a little testing here. I want to see if the audio is coming out okay. I'm in a coffee shop, so you're gonna hear noises in the background, but with the microphone, it should have a noise canceling setup, so we should be okay. Should be okay. So we're gonna right now. That's all. I like using YouTube. Uh, don't use it as much, right? I never really got to use it as much, but I've gotten used to using it. Hey, look, we got our number two top fan, Keller Girl, in the building. What's up, Keller Girl? How you doing? It's great to always see you. Let me know how. I know the audio. I'm on a regular phone, so I'm using my microphone on that. So let me know if you can hear me very well. Just give me a thumbs up or something, and I appreciate that. I restarted my phone over and over just to make sure I didn't have that darn crazy sound. But you know how it always goes. When in doubt, just stream. Awesome, awesome. So let me get my quick introduction in while I got this thing going. My name is George from George's Hot Sauce, if y'all don't know, in the YouTube world. I am a Twitch streamer, but I also have multiple platforms that we promote our Twitch on throughout all social media. With that will be, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and other platforms too. But Twitch is the main area I do my live streaming at. But I love sending my content over to YouTube to share when it comes to great recipes and information and having fun with our friends. As you can see, Keller Girl, who has been around for so long. I mean, Keller Girl, you are in the list for another video to thank. So be on the lookout and check it out. I like to keep up with Keller Girl. She's pretty hot on on X. Yeah, I'm always checking you out. Pretty hot on X, man. You're letting the people know how you feel about a lot of stuff that's going on, and I don't blame you. Um, if you haven't, please do subscribe on YouTube. It is free to subscribe totally. And if you want to find out more about what's going on with me for the 7 months I haven't been streaming, I highly suggest that you follow behind like Keller Girl and Talanoa. They join for free at Patreon. And at Patreon, you can find my link in Patreon. We're actually going to be doing a really in-depth Q&A on the second half of the live stream. This is going to go for about approximately under 30 minutes. Seems like everybody likes my 30-minute live, so I'm going to be sticking to the script of doing these 30-minute lives. Today we're going to be talking about what I've learned from doing volunteer hours basically in the kitchen of the homeless shelter. I've had this opportunity to do a lot of hours volunteering at a homeless kitchen, kitchen for the homeless, sorry. And these are the things that I've actually gotten out of it, and I can't wait to share this with you. I'm going to go down the line of how, and eventually if you want to know the story on what got me into this, stick around, join that Patreon for free. You'll find it in the profile in the YouTube, and join us, and I'll be there doing Q&As. We will be having a Q&A talk sometime within 15 minutes of this live stream. But for the meantime, for the first 15 minutes, I'm going to blabber and run my mouth like crazy on what I learned doing 300 plus hours volunteering in a homeless kitchen. If y'all don't know, I'm from Texas, Dallas, Texas, but I live in the northern Texas area, and just discovering about all the things that are happening economically in America, through the politics and the changes in prices and way of living has definitely paid a big price onto seeing what's happening outside of the people that are struggling to survive every day in the world in general. but most important, where I'm at right now, where I see a lot of stuff happening that I've never really had a visual or paid attention to through my journey as a content creator. You kind of stay tunnel vision, so you don't really, sit down and look at the situation for what it is. But since these past months, I've had an opportunity to see a lot of things going on in the world and going on close to home that needs to be addressed and talked about. But the first thing I do want to talk about is my experience going into a homeless kitchen shelter and helping them to, helping by volunteering. When I say helping by volunteering, believe it or not, I went in there uh, unannounced. I'm just going in as George. I'm not really going in as a guy who is doing social media and cooking food and having the LLC and all these things. I took all that away and I just went in there just as George, a guy who is a foodie and just loves to help out and cook. So, believe it or not, for the time I was there, I have not done really any cooking. Nope. A lot of the folks in the kitchen, what you understand about these kitchens, one thing I got to say, these kitchens are amazing. It's well inspected, state inspected. It's managed by, I guess you could say, retired cooks and chefs and kitchen managers, people who've been around in the industry. So, a lot of folks in there have done it all. And in order to, keep from being bored, they just went back out and started working back into the industry. But they figured it would be a great idea to go back out and help the people by donating, well, not donating, but putting their time in to help run a kitchen. So these kitchens are amazing. They have a walk-in. They have the cooking area, ovens, sauteed soup dispensers, where you can make tons and gallons of soup. So there's a lot going on at the homeless shelter that's really modern, and I really enjoy that. So I came in there immediately and started working the dish pit. That's right. I went in and just started doing dishes. I was like, I have no problem. Why do I want to go in there and start doing dishes? It's pretty simple. I have a food safety license for managing kitchens. I have an actual food safety license, y'all, for managing the kitchen. Those in it know, running your own business, you got to require that. So the ideal of managing and making sure that everybody is safe in your environment when you're cooking. So the dish pit is just the most natural area to go pick for me, because guess what? I'm in there with people who are volunteering. Some of them may have the experience. Some of them talk like they got the experience, But at the end of the day, my observation is, how well can you do that dish? And how well can you make sure that food, that dish is clean and properly dried and not left with anything or any airborne pathogens, should we say, foodborne, leaving bits of food. I don't know if you've ever been to restaurants, if anybody in chat, if you've been to restaurants and you've been in an environment where you got to clean dishes, which I started my life in the food industry as a busboy and dishwasher. And one of the most important things in living a life in the kitchen is that you got to make sure that your dishes are pristine and clean, because those individuals are going to sit down at that restaurant or wherever they're going to go. Chances are they're going to see that speck of some dried whatever sitting on that plate. Or they're going to pull a piece, pull something out off of that plate that's not going to be their food. That is not a good look. So as a person coming in to volunteer, I think it's very, very important to, take the time to go in and do places like, do positions like working in the dishwashing pit. So I take that with pride. I've been working that one actually, I like that one the most, y'all. I like it. Like, I go in here and clean. I throw or catch. It doesn't matter. I throw or catch. Second is mopping and wiping down all the equipment. Yes, without no arguments. I agreed to go in there and make sure that all the items that we use inside that place is clean and ready to use for the next shift. There's three different types of cooking going on. You got a breakfast, you got a lunch, and you got a dinner. So we got to go in and get those prepared every time. So yeah, mopping those floors are actually last. So normally which they like me working at. I like to come in between 3 to 8, and I'll either do the dish pit or I'll help do floors, and at the same time I'll help clean up the machinery to make sure that they're all ready for breakfast in the morning to be served. To keep the food safety requirements on point, you know. And last but not least, what's cool about volunteering is that they make sure that they do feed you. Also, in volunteering, if you don't know, you're working with other folks that are nobody's in there making a paycheck when you volunteer in a homeless kitchen or a soup kitchen nine times out of 10, except the person who is running the show. You know, then the person that's really only getting paid. Everybody else that comes in are going to be volunteer based, which I got a lot of people that came in that were part of churches. I work with a lot of folks from churches. I work with a lot of church organizations for the handicapped and mentally ill. So you have individuals who come in that may be autistic, you know. So I had the patience and time to be able to work with individuals with special needs, and and help guide them into helping do things like drying dishes off or putting dishes in certain areas. I've also worked with people who are doing community service, believe it or not. And the community service one is really interesting because you get a variety of people coming in with community service hours where they could have had a ticket for what I can't tell you, but 9 times out of 10 they made a mistake. People make mistakes, so they have to do 80 hours of community service. More than likely, they're coming into the kitchen to help volunteer to build those hours, because trust me, those hours can be expensive. If you do not want to do those hours, you can spend $400, $500 in fines not doing those hours. So it's very important a lot of those folks come in to do that. And everybody is different. So you're going to be working with people who don't have certifications, who don't have a background in food industry. Some of them may not even have an interest in food industry. So it takes a lot of patience to be able to be in there and work and do things like that, help out in an environment. And believe me, all this is ran by the person who runs the kitchen. So think about this. You're a kitchen manager, a chef, cook, whatever you're doing in there running a homeless shelter kitchen, and your job is to manage multiple people who are coming in to volunteer. And that's all you get. I mean, you can't fire nobody. You can tell them never to come back in your kitchen, but you can't fire nobody. You have to accept the help that's in, and it's up to you right on the spot to figure out where this individual can go and what good can they do to get the job done, to get to the next day. And that is very admiring and challenging for me to witness and see that. So that's what I learned a whole lot when you're working in the kitchen, especially if you want to manage and help run a kitchen in a nonprofit organization and stuff. You're literally working with whatever comes in through the door, and that is very fascinating. Sometimes you're gonna have people like me that's like into the biz and love doing it, and we're very rare. We're very, very rare. So once you get to identifying it, and so a lot of them get to identify it after a while, but I have not told them everything about me. I just watch and learn, and these are the things I learned. Well, number one, I learned how to make more simplified, better foods. For the average Joe, how to make the food more, simplified, more presentable, and feed by the masses. That's one of the things I learned the most. Second is how to make food that's good on the fly for what you get. I've watched the kitchen get a lot of vegetables from farms and a lot of food from different places like Kroger's and other little food places, and they make the best out of all of that stuff. All right. So we're hitting the 15-minute segment here. So just to let y'all know, if you are enjoying what I got here, make sure that you do subscribe and check out the last minutes of it, and be sure you go to Patreon to join for free, because we're going to be having a Q&A with the folks at Patreon talking about basically why I've been winning and why I've been streaming for 7 months. So you get to find that out. So make sure you do subscribe on Patreon, follow or basically join on there. But subscribe on YouTube. It is totally free. We're looking to get another 100. We get another 100 folks. We'll qualify to be able to create a membership club on YouTube. We will be crediting the folks who are the top fans for joining in and hanging out with us. But this is the Q&A time. Let me see what I can do here. Ooh, we got a poll. All right, so this is new. I like this, I guess. All right, so this is where you start the Q&A. So I got that up for y'all. If anybody has any questions coming in, feel free to ask. I am an open book, as you can see. And a lot of the questions I will be answering deeply in the Patreon when you join for free. So yeah, expect me over there. Let me see, what time is it? Good, we're doing good on time. And I'm really just going over to getting what I've learned from the 300 plus hours. I'm actually working on 400 hours now, and I'm very happy to actually get this opportunity to go in there. Most folks will probably cringe and don't want to go into a kitchen and serve people, but when I first started out, I was like not really up to doing it. I felt like it was going to be a waste. That's a good question, Keller Girl, but actually that's going to be a question to fully answer in the Patreon, because that's where we're going to be having some more in-depth conversation. More of the questions is about right now is about the 300 hours volunteering, what I learned in volunteering in the shelter. But that's a good question right there, because I got some really serious news to pass on to y'all about what's going on in the shelter. It's a lot of stuff that's been happening since that dreaded, and Keller Girl, that dreaded I'm going to say July the 6th. When Trump made all those changes and took away a lot of stuff from government funding, it changed a whole lot in helping America get themselves together by helping other people. It took a lot away. And I'm going to get into that once we get, I always tell folks, y'all want to know about this stuff, the deep stuff, go over to Patreon and join for free. And we're going to do that Q&A. Yeah. But right now it's really the questions of me learning what I've learned being in there for the 300 plus hours. If anybody has any questions about what type of food they serve, or how many people that we serve a day, stuff like that. Those are good ones right there. I'm trying to remember one question somebody asked me in the. Because I did have, I asked some folks during the week, is there any questions about the homeless shelter life and how they eat and everything. I was, okay, that's a good question. The question is that I got here is, what would you say is the most important thing you learned since being there? The most important thing that I've learned being there is, like I said, is to have patience. You got to have a lot of patience working in a homeless kitchen, shelter for the homeless. Let me say that right, because you're going to have a lot of individuals with different personalities. Everybody's got problems, right? And you're dealing with folks from off the street, and folks are going to be. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to be very thankful for what you're providing, and some people are not going to be very thankful. They're going to be very decisive. They're going to be very choiceful. They're going to be not in their right mind. They're going to be angry. A lot of them will be angry. A lot of them are going to be just greedy. It's just a lot that's happening when you're in that environment. So, what I've learned is you got to have patience. You got to have patience with everybody. Like I said, I've worked with individuals in the kitchen with anger issues. I've worked with people who have mental, disabilities. I've worked with autistic folks. And I've been around individuals who try to work around individuals with those disabilities, and it can be very frustrating. That's why I commend the kitchen managers, because a lot of them are women, so they're very, they embrace and want to help everybody, and I see them treat some of them like they're children. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, to be honest with you, but A second thing that I learned that was most important, Killer Girl, is I extended my thought process on menus. So now I have a bigger, broad menu when it comes to alternative cooking. And when I say alternative cooking, I'm talking about cooking food for folks who do not eat meat, people who do not eat dairy. I had an opportunity, because a lot of folks in homeless shelters, they can have the same issue. I'm lactose intolerant. I'm not supposed to be drinking milk. So there will be donations of almond milk, of different types of milk, but there's a lot of 1% and a lot of regular milk that they donate and stuff, and I can't have that. So, I have to make sure that I tell them if they want to feed us, I have to tell them I can't have milk. There's people who are not allowed to have seafood. You got to make sure of that. So you got to come up with alternatives to making seafood dishes. So that was one of the biggest things I learned in the kitchen, was coming up with alternative meals for big environments of people, big loads of high volumes of people to feed. And I got to learn how to make vegan spaghetti, vegan spaghetti with tofu, and my whole ordeal with that is that when it comes to making alternative meals, I truly feel that you should make it with the same love and passion, like you would if I made some ribs, if I made chili. You should make it with the same love and passion, just the same. And what I've witnessed is that some folks who run a kitchen, there's like 3 different types of people, that have that in there, and you can tell a person who cooks with passion. And to me, a true chef, a true definition of a chef, for real, is a person who thinks like a scientist, functions and maneuvers things like an accountant, can have the leadership to run a kitchen. What's up, Bear Runner? Welcome in. And most of all, cook like a grandma or somebody's aunt, cook like you give a dang. And there are a lot of folks in the industry who cook just to make money. And sometimes you can taste it in the food. You can taste it, But like I said, when we're in these kitchen working, you got to be very careful, because everything is about dietary. So you're not allowed to, they don't want you to be feeding people with heavy amounts of salt. So you got to learn how to cook without using heavy amounts of sodium. That means you got to embrace the natural ingredients from the garden. You got to utilize your garlic, your onion powders, salt alternatives. You got to think about a lot of that stuff. I've learned to cook with beets. I haven't cooked with beets in quite some time, but I've learned to cook and use and make good food with beets. salads. I've learned great side dishes that I can put together with the ideal of not only vegetables but also fruits. You know, you can put side dishes together with the combination. And a lot of that is because I got to hang out with people who come from German descendant families or Asian descendant families from like Guam and stuff like that. So I got to really dip into different cultures of cooking. And a lot of that has helped me come up with great ideas on how to put together my menus and also come up with alternative meals for people who do not eat meat. I did learn, you know, if y'all, we've done a live stream in the past where I've done vegan burgers, and I used to make vegan burgers almost taste like real burgers, you know. But and I always tell y'all that, you know, in my mind knows, hey, this is not a burger, but I try to make it as close to tasting like an all-American classic burger. So those are one of the cool things. Anybody else got any more questions? Please shoot and ask. We are running into the 26 minutes of the live stream. I don't know. I'm thinking I might cut over and go straight to Patreon. I may not go straight at 30 minutes. Like I said, I usually like doing these lives, good 25 minutes. They're really good to share to other folks who want to know about stuff. But I got to say that being there has been very therapeutic for the things that's been happening right now. It's been helping me out. Got you. I appreciate you, Kelly girl. Glad you've been hanging out over there. Hey, and I want to tell everybody when they get an opportunity, take advantage of those 7-day trials. I've got it set up now where you can actually get access to more things. Can you believe it, yo? We're almost, I want to say, where are we at? 300? I don't know. I got to double check, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking over, it's either 400, it's either close to 400 pieces of content or 600 pieces of content. It's one of the two. Yeah, a lot of folks don't know that I've been doing this live streaming for quite some time, and sometimes I lose track of what I've been doing. But I think one of the great benefits about having the Patreon is, I'll share with you later, is that there's things that you can do on Patreon for the people who are new to you, because believe it or not, every day there's always somebody new discovering me. There's always somebody new discovering you. Yeah, so let me look at my papers here. Yeah, I will say is helping people has been really therapeutic for me. You know, just to see people say thank you and God bless you for helping us out, I really appreciate it. That is more than money to itself when it comes to doing things. You know, as you know, we are very heavy into doing charity work in our live streaming. So I can add this right to the fold of more. So you're going to be seeing me in the future doing more charity work, not only for children's cancer with St. Jude's and Starlight, but you know, it's also going to be with America's Homeless. You know, we're going to be doing some charity work for that as well as mental illness, mental health awareness. I think those are very important. I think we've touched base with a lot of folks in our community where they're coming out the woodwork and they're actually being honest and telling me, hey man, you know, I got this going on in my life. I really appreciate watching your live streams. You know, I can connect with what you're going through. You know, so that's one of the things that I really like is the connection. It feels good. Cars and Curbs in the building. My number one skater, what's going on? I appreciate all y'all. And you know, with the Patreon, it's automatically connected to my Discord. So I can go down and run on the line with these amazing folks right here. While I close out, I want to let everybody know how amazing y'all are and how much I connect with y'all. And, you know, I had one young lady by the name of Pepper Princess. We had a great conversation. I don't know, we might mess around and have a nice series. If you haven't checked out Pepper Princess, check her out on Instagram. But she has a great story to share as well. But I'm going to tell you this, Keller Girl, starting with Keller Girl, is one of the top fans. I'm going to go down the line. Top fan number one, Keller Girl. Keller Girls love wrestling. That's our connection. We sat down in our live streams, and I'm going to have them going again eventually. We're going to be definitely going into a just chatting soon. I've been testing the Wi-Fi out. I've been seeing how things been working. So we're going to get an early jump. And, and Keller Girl has won numerous contests. Keller Girl, do you have a George's Hot Sauce coffee mug? Do you have any merch? I know in the past we, gave away little small gifts like, Amazon gift cards and stuff like that. But I was just wondering if you had any George's Hot Sauce merch. We've had a group of folks that received merch and bought merch and hot sauces and stuff. And man, they've been sharing photos. We've actually put together recipes. Okay, we'll work on that. We'll work on that because guess what? You are the number one. You are on that number one on the list. So if anybody saw any advertisement, that's what we're going to be doing. All right. I got to close out. We're going to definitely, if you want to talk about this again, we can have a part 2 on this because there's still so much to share about what I've learned with doing 300 plus hours in kitchen, helping the homeless in a homeless shelter. I can go down the line, but I think with these general things that we talked about were just on the cuff, the great part, but there are other things that I know that the kitchen is going to need down the road because of the changes that are happening. And if you want to find out more in-depth stuff, please do go to Patreon, join for free. I'll be in there doing an in-depth Q&A and talking to everybody on why I have not been streaming for the past 7 months on Twitch and on social media in general. Thank y'all so much. And once again, I need to finish off saying about all the amazing folks on here. Carbs and Curbs is the number 2 on there. Carbs and Curbs has a YouTube channel, by the way. Carbs and Curbs loves to skate, y'all. The skater, and he likes wrestling too. I don't know what it is about us with wrestling, but yeah. Yo, Beer Runner, if you want to know where the wrestling fans are, they're all here in this chat right here. If you want to sit and you should go, and if y'all on TikTok, some of y'all may not be TikTokers, y'all should go over to Beer Runner's account and his wife's account. They like to talk about SmackDown and all kind of stuff. But I always wanted to have one in the Discord community too, like an after. I've been throwing them, but I know that people got busy lives. I'll still keep throwing them and setting up the clubhouse for it in Discord. But eventually, if we ever have time, I would love to sit down and talk about what's been going on in the WWE world and the AEW world and so on. I got to get up out of here, though. I got to get ready. I did put it at 135 on the Patreon for a reason, just to give me some leeway, just in case I kept running my mouth. Check out the Beer Runner, who does great craft beer reviews and is an amazing marathon runner who's been showing some stuff. He's been going to Chicago, New York, and he does a local event here in Dallas. Gives great tips on how to stay in shape and everything. And he's also an avid viewer of all y'all amazing streamers out there, believe it or not. I don't know how he finds the time to do it, but he does it. All right? I got to get up out of here. If you haven't known, if you don't know now, go to the profile. You can go there and follow me and subscribe on YouTube when you get this. I'll be putting out some clips and stuff and everything. I'll see y'all later. Take it easy.